Hey there, I'm going to walk you through how we can use the LANCommander Interposer to patch GameSpy games for us without needing to modify the game's executables or any of the config files or anything like that. It's able to do this through per process DNS redirection, which means that all the changes are completely isolated to the game itself and it won't affect anything in your system. And like I said, we don't have to change any config files or any patching through binaries or anything like that. It's all using Windows API hooking, which makes it pretty awesome. Before we jump in, I want to take a look at the game that we're going to be patching. In this example, I'm going to be using Deer Hunter 2005, which, believe it or not, supports 16-player online multiplayer via GameSpy. So I'm going to show you directly into the game right now what that looks like. With most games with GameSpy, you'll notice that if we go to online here and we go to join, it's going to try to list servers on the internet, but it's not going to find anything. It's just going to time out. And that's because the GameSpy services have shut down. So in order to actually patch this, we're going to exit out of the game. I'm going to open up my web browser, and you're going to want to go to the LANCommander.app/interposer URL. That'll bring you directly to the main page with all the documentation. And then we're going to find the latest release. In this case, it's going to be 1.0.5. You'll see a bunch of download options, and depending on the game that you're patching, you may need a specific version of one of these downloads. In this video, we're going to cover the dinput8 proxy method, which you should be familiar with if you've patched games before. It works great for most games that you'll find with GameSpy on PC. But if you have any other mods or compatibility shims that already use dinput8.dll, you might want to try the regular proxy version, which uses version.dll. If neither works, I would check out the Getting Started documentation to find the right loader that's going to work for your game. But I'm going to go ahead and download the dinput8 x86 download. Since my game is already 32-bit, or was built for 32-bit x86, and most GameSpy era games probably will be, you'll probably want to download the same. So I'm going to go ahead and download it. I'm going to open it. And what you're going to find is a dinput.8.dll file and a .interposer directory. Now you're going to want to put this into right next to your main executable for the game. In the case of Deer Hunter 2005, this is dh2005.exe, but yours might be buried under a folder. If it's like an Unreal type game, it's going to be under like system or something like that. But we're going to take these two files here, or this file in this directory, and we're going to drag it right into here. Now we're going to want to open up the Interposer folder and open up config.yaml in a text editor. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code, but really any text editor should do. Notepad works just fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to the DNS redirect section here. You'll see some documentation that already exists, but in this case, what we're going to do, I'm going to paste in my own section here where we specify a pattern for GameSpy.com, and we're going to replace it with OpenSpy.net. This syntax is regex, so it supports regex for those who know regex. But for these purposes, you can just copy what's here. Now I'm going to go ahead and save it. So all this is going to do is it's going to take any DNS request that's going to try to hit GameSpy.com, and it's going to redirect it to OpenSpy.net, which is their public servers that they graciously supply for us. And then I'm going to go and launch the game. And then I'm going to go to online and join. And you'll see that there are now servers that are responding to OpenSpy requests. So like I said, we didn't have to do any hex editing in here just to kind of show that off. I'm going to open up my hex editor. I'm going to drag that in here. I'm going to do a search. I'm going to try to find anything that's OpenSpy. I'm going to do search all, and I can't find it. So we didn't change any config files other than the LANCommander Interposer config, and now we're good to go. If you do run into issues with this, because it may be different depending on the game, or you just want to see what's happening under the hood, you can also go into the config file, and towards the top will be a section for logging. So see here, you can enable logging for the network, and what this is going to do is under a log file in this directory under Interposer logs, it's going to log out to this file, and you can kind of see some of the debug stuff that it kind of puts out. You can see, because we have some of the file load logging enabled, you can see exactly the type of actions that it's trying to take on these game files. So, and you can also customize that and turn any of these off, and it'll work just fine. And this is really just for debugging purposes. So yeah, that's all you really need to patch your game to run and hit OpenSpy at runtime. The big advantage here, obviously, is that your game files are completely unmodified and everything is reversible. All you really need to do is, delete dinput.dll or delete this .interposer directory, and it should be back to normal. But this is just one of the many features that are available in the Interposer. If we go to the documentation site, you can see under features, we can do file redirection, registry emulation, fastDL, which is a more advanced subject, and then you can also alter player identity and like how the username reports to the game and how the computer name reports to the game. So there's a lot more to explore. I highly recommend checking out the full documentation if you want to see what else is possible. And this project is also free and open source. It's licensed under the MIT license. It's hosted under GitHub. You can go here and browse the code that's here and see exactly what's done. And then also, if you want to get involved in the larger LANCommander community, we do have a Discord available on the main site here in the footer. But yeah, if you want to talk about old games, LAN parties, or just want to stop by and say hi, I highly recommend checking it out. And this is just going to be one of many videos. In future videos, we're going to cover more advanced topics with the Interposer. So stay tuned for those.